Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. This is our Sunday morning lesson. Today's lesson invites us to trust life, to embrace the unknown with all of its rapid changes, to embrace it with open arms. The universe doesn't call us just to catch up. It invites us who know what we know to lead the way. I have a reading today to start us off with by Ernest Holmes, which is entitled The Road to Freedom. Ernest Holmes says there is power. There is a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. So let us use it now, he said, by affirming together, I am surrounded by an infinite potential. Only good can come to me. I know that I'm being led into all good. I trust the Spirit to protect me, to guide me safely and wisely, and to care for every need. Life is a road which leads towards the goal of complete freedom from fear and apprehension. Every single step I take on this road makes me safer, stronger, and more certain of the ultimate victory of truth and love. He continues, my road is clear before me. This I know, for there is nothing to obstruct the divine circuit of love and love which flows through me. As we contemplate these words today, let us carry their truth into our daily living, affirming the boundless freedom that awaits us. There's power for good within us, operating through us, and we can use it, which is something we teach you every week. Today, as we embrace the unknown, part of our talk is going to be that we're going into the future at warp speed. Today, as we embrace the unknown, we do so with courage and joy that comes from this spiritual understanding that we have here. So I have several working titles for this particular presentation. I'll know when I post it, but the idea is about catching up or trying to catch up. Or in our lives, we often find ourselves in a perpetual state of learning. Like I'm tempting myself to learn how to use various programs and social media, and my cell phone is a wonder in and of itself. I'm doing pretty well, considering I don't think I turned on a computer till I was like 40 years old, so there was a steep learning curve for me. In a world that's brimming with rapid technological advancements, societal shifts, and personal transformations, it can seem like we're constantly racing to keep up. People are calling me, asking me how to do all kinds of things technically, and I laugh. But actually, I have learned a lot, and I'm sure we're all in this boat together. As we navigate all these swift currents, the change, it's really important not to merely impulsively react to things, but to pause. We always talk about pause and to connect with our inner wisdom, our inner spirit. One thing we teach you here is, the God that you're looking for, the spirit you're looking for is not far off in the heavens, but it's within you. We have lots of expressions. Like say, we live, move, we have our being in it. We are inlets and outlets of it. So as we navigate the swift currents of change, it's really important that we take those pauses, take those timeouts during the day, take the pause that will refresh, rejuvenate, and or cause you to remember that I'm a spiritual being living in a spiritual world. And the thing is, the information you can garner from spirit within will save you a lot of trouble. Because when we're reacting to everything, we're not using the best part of ourselves. We have within us everything that we have infinite knowledge within us. So as we learn to pause and learn to live affirmatively, which means as though we know we have this power within us, we're going to have much better results, much more informed opinions. The mindful approach is something we talk about. This is, in other words, being conscious, having a mindful approach. This will ensure us that as we leap forward to meet the world and all of its changes, we are able to do so with intention and awareness. That here I'm creating my life, so we do so knowing that I am cause to my own experience. I'd like you today to consider the amazing ideas that have shaped human history, concepts that once seemed unimaginable until they burst forth into reality. I do a lot of preparation for these talks and things that never really get said in the research. But I was reading the story of Henry Ford, and it wasn't that many years, truly, in terms of human time, where there was horse and buggies, and then all of a sudden he found a way to mass-produce cars, and the whole reality of the country changed. How quickly innovations become realized, and then they spread across our collective consciousness like wildfire. In this world that's moving so rapidly, and this is the point I'm trying to have people see today, we really need to slow down and take a pause, a time to reflect. We talk about this often here, this idea, a time to tune into our deeper wisdom and to the spirit within. One thing that's fantastic about religious science and New Thought is we don't teach you that you're going to be rescued or saved by some distant deity. The great awakening in religious science is to realize this power that you're looking for, this journey is without a distance. This thing that you're looking for is already here. It's within you, and that's really an exciting thing to realize. So more and more as the world gets fast and fast, we want to start taking these thoughtful pauses. And as we do, we're going to ensure ourselves that we're able to meet the world as it comes forward at such a quick speed. If we become more mindful, more poised, and more centered, we will meet the changes with wisdom and with grace and with positive expectancy. I know if you're not staying with this practice, it's easy to get buffeted around and react to everything. You can be reacting to what's on the news. You can be reacting to every conversation. It's very easy to do that, and that's what most of the world does. Religious science students really never have been that way, at least the ones who practice it, because we've always realized that all is well, as Louise would say. We practice affirmative living. We always have, and we're constantly reminding ourselves that we don't have to react to anything. We can know everything is in divine order. I think about how I've gone to the bank a few times and the doors are closed and the machines are there, the people are gone. So now I know with a few taps on my phone, I can cash checks. I'm not chatting with a cashier anymore. That's all a distant memory. In the stores that I go to, everything seems to have self-checkouts. So we can all see what's happening. We can consider how medicine, the clunky machines of the past that once crowded hospital rooms, are now replaced by sleek, moving robotic arms that make things less daunting, everything from surgery to routine exams. And hopefully they make recovery quicker. We can notice our telecommunications, where we used to have these heavy home phones, have given way to sleek pieces of glass that fits into our pockets. And they're capable of much more than phone calls. I can scan, I can read books, I can listen to any music that I ever dreamed of listening to. There's every type of program that can help us manage our lives. And then comes the next one. Who's driving cars anymore when cars can drive themselves, or they will soon be able to? We have innovation everywhere. Innovators like Elon Musk and others are turning in what was once science fiction into everyday reality. We're using thousands of satellites above us, which can provide information to people in every distant corner of the planet. And now we're using AI to reshape how we commute. It's mind-boggling. And let's not forget about the gadgets at home. We've long ago said goodbye to our VCRs, our tape machines, and we've said hello to streaming on demand and much more. The world might be spinning fast, but we have a superpower and it's within us. So ever more now than ever in this world which is speeding by, it's important to take that pause. And I would suggest doing it a few times a day personally. And we joke about it with the pause that refreshes. But the thing is, as you connect with Spirit, you're going to realize that, whatever is going on, you're more than what's happening in your life, and you come equipped to handle it. So we are able to not just navigate changes with agility, but we can do so with foresight, and we can do so with positive expectancy. I know there's many people on our call always that are in my generation, and maybe younger too, that are resisting all of this. But it's pointless to resist it. Life is always moving forward. It always has been moving forward. There's been a definite quickening in recent years. There's been an exponential growth of knowledge. Sometimes it's tough to keep up, because it's happening everywhere in the planet. I always remember Louise saying, "I trust the process of life." So I remind you of that today. You might say that to yourself. I trust in the process of life, and all is well. Or what we teach in the Science of Mind class, perfect place, perfect time, all the time. Long ago, I was taught by one of my teachers not to rail against what is, but to center myself and realize that I am cause to my own experience. Okay. Louise Hay would say each of us are 100% responsible for what happens in our lives. I'm cause to my own experience. I have Spirit within me. I have this divine activity in me, operating through me. And I learned to realize through this teaching that this activity, this spiritual activity, definitely responds to me. My thoughts, my feelings, my thinking. I needed to learn how to be the guardian at the gate. What I didn't always know is that I needed to surrender some. I needed to course correct. I need to shift, in different ways and align myself with Spirit. Emerson suggested to me in my studies that Spirit woos us. It woos us, it guides us. It does it when I take the time to pause or take the time to meditate or become mindful. It's there. It's always there as guidance. I'm here to say it's always up to me, though, whether I'm going to listen to that guidance or whether I'm going to trust the process of life. What I've learned from myself, it's best to be still or learn to be still, take these quiet times. You've heard the expression before, be still and know that I am God. That was meaningful to me along the way. Ram Dass's quotation in the name of his book, be here now. Well, you can't be here now if you're in the future and you're worrying. You can't be here now knowing you're supplied and supported if you're lamenting the past or what's happened to you. See, if you're all caught up in that type of thing, it's not possible to be here now because you're either in the past, you're carrying grievances, and there has to be a way to let go of that stuff. Another axiom that I share from time to time here that's helped me over the years is the expression, whatever is best. Very similar to the idea that everything is in divine order and trusting the process of life. I used to be judging all kinds of things and people and things at a different point in my life. And when I read a passage from the Course in Miracles, which said, I could see peace instead of this. And as I realized in this teaching, I'm cause to my own experience, I realized it's not about them. Life is unfolding perfectly. It's always going to be about me, my thoughts, and my creations. I am the creator, the co-creator. I'm one with the one, and I'm the author of my own experience. I'm writing the script, and each of you are in your own way too. So I affirm this, and I know it to be true. I'm suggesting today that each of us, in our own way, embrace all of the advances that are going on in the world, all the innovation with open arms and with a knowing smile, because it's all happening in divine order, knowing that we are guided and supplied and supported, that Spirit, as the changes happen, always will have our back, and that we're always going to have the information we need when we take the time to listen to that source, that divine energy that's within us. And after all, while the world changes at a breakneck pace, grounding ourselves in consciousness, conscious thought and connection allows us not just to keep up, but to shape the future thoughtfully and joyfully. See, if you're reacting to everything, everything's going to be a mess. But if you can be grounded in our connection, consciously know I'm supplied and supported, I'm one with the one, that allows us, again, not to just keep up, but to shape the future with our thoughts, and to do so joyfully and confidently. I brought up the subject of the human doubling curve before. So let's consider the explosion of knowledge. The internet started it, I believe. Well, that's not even true. This knowledge has been exploding throughout history. But since the time of the internet, or the rapid rise of all things related to the internet, and now artificial intelligence, things are coming at us, and they're going to continue to. These were concepts some 15 or 20 years ago, again, that you could think of them as science fiction or figments of our imagination. But today, most of these things are integral parts of our daily living. It isn't just evolution, it's a revolution. And I was thinking about it, when was the last time something like this happened? And I thought, well, heck, it had to be like the Industrial Revolution around the 1750s, 60s, or whatever it was. And that time irreversibly changed society. Well, this is a time very much like it, except this is even a greater expansion. What we're experiencing now is a series of quantum leaps in human capability and understanding that they're transforming every single facet of our lives at a pace and at a scale that's unimaginable to any previous generation. In religious science, we see this phenomena as a testament to the powerful creative force that is dynamically flowing. It's flowing through the universe, and it's flowing through each one of us. It's nothing to be afraid of. Once you realize that you're a part of this, you're growing, I'm growing, and the whole universe is evolving or evoluting along, but it's doing so very quickly. This force is ever active. It's active in me, it's active in you, and that's exciting. And it's spawning new ideas and possibilities that help us grow and adapt quickly, often in the most unexpected ways. Don't feel stagnant, because when you do, remember, you're an intrinsic part of this dynamic, ever-moving energy. You possess within you the power to embrace new concepts, adapt to changes, and to make significant contributions yourself to this global phenomena. Life is always advancing, and so are you. That's important to know. We know it's advancing, but you're advancing too. So life is always advancing, and so are you. Today's message is to embrace the journey, trust the process, and discover where this boundless creativity can lead you. Be open to it. Be open to big ideas. Create a big vision for yourself. Ask yourself, what would you like to express? Who have you come here to be? Today's message is to embrace the journey and discover where this boundless creativity might lead you. I want to explore with you the concept through a fascinating story often told whenever anyone is talking about quantum leaps of shared consciousness. I remember this impressing me many years ago. Ken Keyes wrote a book, The 100th Monkey. The story was initially about the spread of nuclear proliferation, but there's another story in it. He narrates a story about Japanese monkeys on the island of Koshima in the 1950s. There was one monkey who was a thinker, one monkey who began washing sweet potatoes one by one, year after year, patiently showing others how to do it. And it went on and on and on. And remarkably, after a long time, it caught on. This behavior spread across her land to other monkey populations, seemingly telepathically, or though a shared collective consciousness. This story beautifully illustrates how ideas and behaviors can propagate, how they can go forward. Ideas once ignited spread rapidly and irreversibly through our collective consciousness. Once a critical number of individuals adopt an innovation or a thought, it seems to be picked up by people almost spontaneously across the world, as though it's going through the ethers. This isn't just confined to monkeys or a tangible phenomena. It happens with human concepts and inventions too. Today, our metaphysical lesson circles back to this ever pertinent theme. We are perpetually waking up and catching up. Many weeks you'll hear me quote Louise Hay from a songbook by Hal Joseph, Remembering and Forgetting. The question I have for you today that I prepared is, how do you think you could remember more often? Is there anything you could do to keep your remembrance of this connection, apart from showing up here a couple times a week? I've used affirmations all my adult life, so affirmations are good. You could continue to learn more and you perfect using affirmative prayer treatments, very powerful. What other ways could you be in connection more often, be more mindful? And I've jotted down a few suggestions last night, one of which I've already said. Intentionally creating mindful pauses to remind yourself that you are one with this great power. You're one with the One. Tuning in here as often as you can to be reminded and be part of this community. I think I've told this group most of my stories over the years, but I do remember probably in my late or mid-20s, I was working on Cape Cod for a summer or so, and I had a series of crazy jobs, and all of them, bars, restaurants, everything. Everybody was a seasonal worker, and everybody was being fired right and left. And I was determined not to let anything bother me, because I had already got involved in this process. And I would refuse to be offended from the 4 agreements. I refused to take things personally. I would be continually telling myself whatever is happening, I would say, this is God in my life. I was training myself to see that I live, I move, and I have my being in this. And I get to create my own reality by the way I think. So I started incorporating these affirmations, started practicing them. Louise Hay in my life, of course, was the greatest help of all, because she really emphasized it's all about self-healing. And when you really begin to love yourself, everything starts to change. Here's a question for you today. How many ideas that have flourished on the planet that a decade before no one even had any? They were unthinkable. And of course, the answer now is many, many, many. I remember a time in my life, as I was thinking about this lesson, where I thought a fax machine was the single most incredible thing I'd ever seen. I was in real estate at the time. I remember what we had to do to get a contract signed from one side of the country to another. And I was astonished as I was in that office seeing one of those things go through a machine from coast to coast in probably a minute or 2 minutes at most, from California to New York. I was remembering having to drive documents from Vermont to New York for hours and hours. It was important. And I'm thinking of the fax machine. It was the thing that got my attention. I'm sure all of you have your memories of different things that have come and gone. But for my generation, for me anyway, I just couldn't get over a fax machine. And this was before computers. And now we look at the internet, we look at artificial intelligence, we look at the thousands upon thousands of satellites that are circling above. And we could probably have a list of 50 things that are mind-boggling. All concepts that 20 years ago, we would have relegated them all into the realm of science fiction. So astonishing to think about how far we've come. And it's exciting to think about where we might go next. See, a lot of people will be focusing on what's wrong and what's missing, but I'm here to focus on just the incredible advances and for us to be open to the change and to trust the process of life. This is what happens when you live affirmatively, from an affirmative standpoint. I see the advancements in the sciences, the robotics. I see AI as being helpful in creating advancements of every kind. If you turn on the news, though, you'll hear a lot of doom and gloom. I promise you. When I was a young person in this teaching, all my best teachers would told me, give yourself so many minutes of that stuff a day and turn it off. And it was suggested, they said, you live in a time where you can commune with some of the greatest minds that have ever lived. And so there's nobody nicer to be nicer to you than to you. So over the years, I made it my business to keep reading and listening and reading. So let me ask you another question for today. Have you ever felt an unexplainable bond with, say, a pet, like my dog, Spirit? I have an unexplainable bond with that dog. Or have you ever felt a bond with an animal, or maybe you felt a peaceful presence when you've taken a walk or taken a hike, or maybe going down by the shore, or possibly through a forest, or maybe you get up into the mountains. There's moments when energetic bonds that link all life become something you can feel. Like when that dog looks at me. I've seen Jimmy talk about that dog too. Or have you ever been in a place where the universe seems to reveal its secrets to you? There are moments where we can absolutely sense it and we can feel it. I was thinking last night, possibly for parents, could be the birth of a child. I would imagine that would do it also, and things like that. I'm sure there's been times and in most everyone's life where there's been a sense of the sacred and the divine. As we contemplate the world, we realize it's all spiritual activity. There's nothing else. We live in it, we move in it, we have our being in it. So let's release the need to get caught up in all the things that people get caught up in the world. People who have been in this teaching really don't do that. Or if they find themselves being caught up in the things in the world, they quickly attempt to get back on track. They stay involved in the classes. They, stay with like-minded people. Or, you do things, be mindful. You do practices to keep yourself, elevate your thinking, your thoughts, your consciousness. So it's all spiritual activity. It's wonderful. Louise had such beautiful consciousness. I remember her saying, I love the world the way it is. And she went on to say, there's nothing I need to change. She was able to understand that everything was spiritual activity unfolding. It would be very difficult to catch her into doing some version of Ain't It Awful. I love the world, she said, the way it is. There's nothing I need to change. Understanding that it's all, again, God in action, or spiritual activity unfolding. There's millions and millions of interactions of spirit happening every single minute. And she said, I love the world the way it is. She had tremendous compassion for life, and she could see the hand of the divine in every part of it. Every encounter is a holy encounter. She had the consciousness to understand that. She could sense the miraculous in every encounter. We endlessly wake up to realize that we are one with this power, this love, this intelligence. We can connect with nature, we can connect with animals, and we can be aware of this connection. We understand that the universe is alive. It's alive, it's in you, it's really vibrant, it's filled with energy, filled with spirit. Everything in creation is spiritual activity. As we reflect in these profound connections, as we reflect on this profound connection with life, let's affirm together, I am one with spirit. I'm a vital part of a compassionate universe that's evolving and growing with every breath. Again, I'm a vital part of a compassionate universe that's evolving and growing with every breath. of yet another question you might ask yourself for today. How can I personally extend my circle of compassion? What comes up for you in today's lesson? What's mine to do? What can I do to extend my circle of compassion? If anything comes up for you, just make a mental note of it. Pat D, again, inspired me with his $5 contribution to Random Strangers, noting that in giving that $5, it helped him. He felt better. And as I thought about it over the weekend, it quite possibly restored the faith of another individual when he did it. You don't know, it's a simple thing for him, and it made him feel good, but it might have restored the faith in another individual as well. And even now, as I recount the story with all of you, it inspires me, and it might be inspiring many of you as well. I can recall a close friend, as I was putting the lesson together, it reminded me of Pat A in Florida. And she has this habit of always looking at people and smiling at them. And most of the time she says hello and she smiles. And often she'll say thank you, but it's just always she takes the time to greet people with a warm smile. And I talked to her about her before, and she says, very easy to do this. She said, I'm never too busy for that. And she was running her own company, and she had a lot going on like everybody else. But I noticed she always took that time. She never ignored anyone, never was too busy to do it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's no surprise to me, because I've known her for over 30 years, that everybody in the world loves her. I mean, and it's just such a simple thing she does. She connects and welcomes people. She acknowledges them. It's like namaste. So again, the question, what comes up for you today as you're thinking about this? What can you think that you might be able to do, that you could give or do to extend your circle of compassion today? Doesn't have to be anything big, but it can be a big thing. I remember my cousin Madison giving a lady in a wheelchair $20 when we went into a store that day. Now, that happened to be a store I went to often. And I've seen that lady many times there. And at the time, I had some judgment going on in my head that she's always doing this. And then I remember him saying to me, Greg, I have to give her this money. I need to give her this money. And I thought about it for a while. And then I realized this is clearly none of my business. He likes giving. He's motivated. He wanted to extend himself. So there's many things that people do that are really none of our business. It was a good day for me. It taught me a lesson. The question here, once again, for all of us today is, how can we extend our circle? Is there anything we can do to extend my circle of compassion today? And this, again, has nothing to do with money necessarily. I'm sure you're all clear about that. Maybe it's being more generous in your thinking. Maybe by extending your circle of compassion, maybe that includes giving people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe we've been, in some cases, quick to judge. Maybe if we release the need to judge, we'd be extending our circle of compassion. There's lots of things. So whatever comes to mind for you. Dr. Bill, one of my favorite teachers, used to say, life loves a giver. So if you're full of love and you're able to share genuinely, you're sharing from a full cup. And he was very big, as he was teaching us the teaching, suggesting we share some of our time, our talent, and our treasure with others. Small things, Pat D reminded me this week, are big things when it comes to this type of thing. Let's affirm today, I embrace change and the mysteries, of the universe with courage. So I embrace all this with courage and curiosity. I embrace it all with courage and curiosity, knowing that all is well. And a second affirmation for today, I'm ready to lead the way. I come fully equipped, one with the one. I'm ready to lead the way in creating a compassionate, understanding world. It begins with me, right? As we prepare to close today's lesson, I invite you to embrace the unknown. I'd like you to think of it as an exciting thing. As I said earlier, the universe doesn't just call us to catch up, it invites us to lead the way. That's Holmes, remember, saying, there is power for good in the universe greater than you, of which you are a part, and you can use it. So the universe isn't asking you to catch up, it's asking you to lead the way. With every courageous step we make into the unknown, we're crafting a future that's full of potential. I heard a story of a young businesswoman not long ago stepping onto the stage to present a new idea. She was a little shaky at first. The room was full, the lights were bright, and the stakes were high for her. She took a very deep breath. She centered herself. She calmed herself. She took the pause, and then she prepared. And as she spoke, she gradually became filled with confidence. Each word not only conveyed her idea, but also presented the possibility of a new reality, a reality that she is creating. Like her, we are here to set the stage for what's next, not just to play small roles in stories written by other people. As we hold our vision, our high vision, let's affirm together, I embrace the mysteries of the universe with courage and curiosity. I am one with the one, and I embrace the mysteries of the universe with courage and curiosity. And I might add, with positive expectancy. And next, I am ready to lead the way in creating a compassionate, understanding world. Let these affirmations, or any affirmations that might resonate with you, fuel your actions to step boldly into the future. Now, as we transition our community to the time of sharing, I encourage everybody to say hello. I encourage you to stay tuned, to have open hearts, open minds. Feel free to share your breakthroughs, your innovations, and the good news of how you've navigated the week. And I'm going to close with a very quick affirmative prayer. We recognize that there's one power, there's one creative intelligence, one source of all creativity. We know this power is within. In the first person, I now align myself with the flow of innovation and insight that permeates the universe. As I move forward with courage and curiosity, I'm guided by the profound connection I have with all of creation. I step into the unknown, crafting a future that reflects my highest intentions. I know I'm supplied and supported. As I open this session to community sharing, I engage with others in the spirit of openness and enthusiasm. May our connections inspire and uplift as we share the paths we've individually and collectively carved through the ever-changing landscape, which is our lives. And so it is. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the moments of reflection. Now let's open the microphones. I'm eager to hear your thoughts, your questions, and to celebrate all the ways you've embraced the unknown with courage and joy. See you in just a moment.